King Andrias Leviathan, aka the king of all of Amphibia, is one of the most intriguing characters in Amphibia to me. And that's not just because he's voiced by one of the voice acting industry GOATs, Keith David, either.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
I remember when this guy's design was first revealed in one of the Season 2 promotional posters, I could tell he was going to play a super important role in the story's long run. One does not simply give a character that good of a design, then proceed to have that character be irrelevant after a few episodes. It's just not possible. Great design and a great voice aren't all that he has going for him, though. What makes him the most intriguing to me is what his true intentions are with our three heroines, the Calamity Box, and the rest of Amphibia / other worlds. Anyone who's only seen King Andrias' interactions with the main protagonist group would think he's a completely harmless, fun-loving king who likes to mess around with others and not take royalty life too seriously. Even seeming more excited about the fact he'll be able to help the girls get home more than the actual girls are excited to get back home themselves. However, I think this fun-loving attitude might all just be an act. Before King Andrias' full debut in the episode The Planners Check In, his voice and part of his body were shown at the end of the episode Marcy at the Gates. He was in the castle overlooking Marcy and Anne while saying to himself, "The pieces are falling into place. It's time for the game to begin." All while putting a chess piece shaped like Anne right next to another chess piece shaped like Marcy. Now, one could argue the quote-unquote game he was referring to was the scavenger hunt Marcy, Anne, and Sprig went on in the next episode. But the tone of the scene with King Andrias talking about this game was very ominous. You know, the music playing in the background was creepy, and he was talking in a very menacing tone of voice. Considering he's supposed to be this fun-loving goofball whenever he talks to people, don't you think if this was referring to the scavenger hunt, his attitude would be a lot more upbeat and happy rather than how it truly was? Just a food for thought on that. The real reason I believe he was setting those pieces up is to use Anne and Marcy to get his hands on the working Calamity Box so he can conquer the other worlds the box lets someone travel to. That's a pretty big statement I'm making here, but check it out. For him to be setting them up on that chessboard like that likely means he knew about how the Calamity Box worked all this time. He was just playing dumb about how it needed to be restored. That old secret library that Marcy accidentally found while they hit a roadblock in their research, he 100% knew that place existed. He was capping to the nth degree when he said he didn't know it was there. He's trying to remain as ignorant as possible so his plans aren't thwarted too early. Now, to add on to this even further, let's talk about the crypt that the kids found in the castle basement. When Anne and Marcy took that selfie near the coffins, several ghostly beings were awakened from their slumber. These beings couldn't be harmed with anything solid. In fact, they were able to completely absorb and dissolve solid things like bones, for example. I talked about this a bit already in my breakdown of this episode, but these things don't look like newts at all. If this area really is supposed to be a crypt, then these graves should be holding the bodies of King Andrias' ancestors. And yet, these are being kept down there in these coffins with a boatload of mirrors in the hallways surrounding the crypt to prevent these things from escaping, because the mirrors turn these things solid, therefore making them way less threatening. So why are these otherworldly creatures being kept in this off-limits basement? Well, if you remember the graphic from the Calamity Box book that Andrias found, the Calamity Box has the ability to travel to 6 different worlds if you count Amphibia itself as one of the 6, that is. Andrias claimed that his ancestors used to use the box to travel to these different worlds as peaceful explorers /scientists. Andrias, I find it a little hard to believe that you never knew about your ancestors doing such major activities in the past until now when you found that book. I think you're giving yourself away, bud. Rather than being peaceful explorers /scientists, it's likely his ancestors invaded /conquered the world they traveled to. If you look at the world that's diagonally to the bottom right of Amphibia on the book's page, there's a green and pink world with pink worm-like objects surrounding the planet. With the crypt creature's main color being pink, that makes me think those creatures came from this world. Andrias' ancestors, or even Andrias himself, invaded the world and took some of the world's inhabitants back to Amphibia, locking them in the crypt. If it was Andrias who invaded that world specifically, that could explain why that picture of him in the basement was torn up. One of the creatures may have shredded it out of anger while being dragged down there as a prisoner. So how did the box end up on Earth then? Well, either Andrias himself or his ancestors must have attempted to invade /conquer Earth, but failed. Also on the page with the planets, we can see that lines are directly connected from Amphibia to every world on that page except one. There's a line in between Amphibia and this planet, but it's not directly connected like the others. I have a very strong feeling that disconnected planet is Earth. There being no connected line there could be a hint as to why the box couldn't be brought back to Amphibia. This planet also has the same color scheme / general geographical layout as Earth. Up there you can kind of see the United States, then connected below it looks like South America. Now with the box back in Amphibia, this is King Andrias' chance to either finish what his ancestors started or finish what he started himself, the takeover of planet Earth. And I'm not not sure what specific proposition he ended up offering Marcy at the end of the day at the aquarium, but I'm sure it'll help further his plans without having her get suspicious of him either. The first step is to get all those temples restored so the box can be recharged. I think that just about does it for this video though. Depending on if more information is revealed about King Andrias' motives throughout the second half of Season 2, I might make a follow-up video to this one, especially if said info lines up with the theory I already have. Sorry if this video seemed a little bit short as well, but there's not a whole lot to cover when it comes to King Andrias because he hasn't had a whole lot of screen time yet. But if he truly is the main antagonist, then I'm sure his screen time will eventually go up quite a bit in the future. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of my theory, if you agree/disagree. Do you think King Andrias really is a good guy? But if you think he's bad, do you have a different idea of what he could be planning than what I thought? You know, tell me. I'd love to know your thoughts. Per usual, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out, take care, bye-bye.